Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you have had a great week and I hope you're looking forward to a fantastic weekend. Students, in this class we are looking at an IELTS reading passage, and this passage will be about an interesting island of people. This is a members chat class, everybody. For YouTube members, you can join the chat. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch this material. This passage is brought to you by AEHelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com, where we have lots of reading videos, strategies, tips, and practice exams for you to improve for your next IELTS test. The academic website looks like this with the blue background. Simply just click the big red button that's above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. We help thousands of students every day to succeed on their exams. Students, for general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. Again, click that big red button, enter the code VISTA10 for an extra 10% discount upon checkout. And it is just a one-time payment for lifetime access. With that, you get weekly Zoom live classes, and I will be sending out those links a little bit later today. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. You will see her in blue. Hi, Lewis, Anna, Olubube. Nice to see you in the class. Good to have everybody with me. Again, premium students, keep an eye out for those Zoom links. If you are a premium user of the websites, you get extra Zoom classes each week. If you want to know what those classes look like, check out this link here. The apps that link to the websites are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. You can take a look at those in your app stores. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And if you have questions, by all means, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Students, after this reading class, we're going to have listening part 3 and 4 that will be for everyone. You will all be able to join the chat and practice and give answers with us. Then tomorrow we'll do speaking part 2. For those of you who are subscribers to this YouTube channel, you will be able to join the chat. It's free to subscribe and you get notifications of these live classes. So I strongly recommend subscribing. And then speaking part 3 for everyone tomorrow. Premium students, your Zoom class will be on Sunday and then on Wednesday as well. To practice your speaking, check out this video we just put up about a week ago or so. It is with Elif from Turkey. She does an awesome job on her speaking. All right, students, so let's get into this reading. Here it is. First steps first, let's just go to our website this time right away and read the passage with one of our British speakers on the website. So we'll again go to the My Student account here at aehelp.com. And we'll just jump right into it this time, everybody. Then we'll work through it together and I will talk some strategy for you. So on the website, you can find computer-based practice exams, as well as a full interactive course with lots of elements, your workbooks that you can download, full practice exams, and then you have your lesson videos. There's lots of them. There's over 200. And then you have your audio CDs. Now, you will find that this audio CD, it's always listed at the top, is CD3 track 5 because it is coming from the third exam. The title is Tristan da Cunha. So read with me, everybody. It's Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Right now, we're just going to warm up your reading and get you reading fluently. Okay, so read along. It's very good practice to do this. For those of you who have premium access on the websites, make sure you do this regularly. Okay, here we go.
Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the South Pacific Ocean, formed by volcanic activity and part of the British Overseas Territory, called St. Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth. Because of its extreme isolation and small population, Tristan da Cunha is a fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics. The island was first discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer named
Tristão da Cunha, who named the island after himself.
The name of the
island was later anglicized by the inhabitants into Tristan da Cunha.
In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. They used it as a marine military base for a number of decades in the 19th century, before it fell into disuse after the construction of the Suez Canal. The Second World War, however, brought renewed purpose to the island. It was used as a top-secret British naval station, codenamed HMS Atlantic Isle. The purpose of the station was to monitor the waters for German U-boats. According to a recent census, the island has a population of just 263 people, who mainly reside in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It is thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Because the reproduction pool is so small, the residents of the island suffer from a number of medical disorders. There is rampant asthma on the island, which is thought to be a result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. Based on the endemic asthma afflicting inhabitants of the island today, it is thought that there is a genetic underpinning for the condition. Further evidence comes from islanders commonly suffering from glaucoma, a degenerative eye condition which, left untreated, can result in blindness. There are just 8 surnames among the 263 residents of Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to the 8 original male ancestors. Since there is almost no emigration to the island, the surnames are kept intact for many generations. Education on the island is very limited. Children only attend school until the age of 15, with the option of taking the British Standardised Test for secondary school graduates once they have completed schooling. As a consequence of the low quality of education, standardised test scores are generally very poor. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken amongst its natives is very different from that spoken of the rest of the world. Arguably, one of the most interesting facts about Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. For example, the newspaper, the Tristan Times, could be purchased for 4 big potatoes. Today, Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound as its currency, which is odd because neighbouring St. Helena, 2,173 kilometres away, of which Tristan da Cunha shares its status as a British Overseas Territory, uses the St. Helena pound and not the British pound. Since Tristan da Cunha was formed by volcanic activity and the volcano which formed it is still active, the inhabitants of the island live in constant danger of volcanic eruption. The last such eruption occurred as recently as 1961, when all of the islanders had to be evacuated to England. While some communities around the world participate in fire, earthquake or tornado drills, the residents of Tristan da Cunha participate in evacuation drills. where they practice the protocol for evacuation of the island in case of volcanic eruption. The Tristan economy is built mainly upon farming. All land is owned by the community. That is to say, there is no individual land ownership. Another significant part of the economy is the exportation of crayfish and lobster, mainly to Japan and the United States. A fire that occurred in 2008 greatly affected both the domestic and export economies. Tristanians are fiercely proud and independent people. Even when given the choice to stay in England after exile due to the volcanic eruption, almost every resident returned to the island.
When studying philosophy, there are two schools of thought when it comes to education.
All right, let's stop the
One side
next audio
believes that-
here. So, of course, there's more reading audio for those of you who do have access. Again, students, use all of this great audio that we've recorded for you in the premium versions of the course. That reading or read along was from your premium package at aehelp.com. And again, just click that big red button to get access to all of those readings and practice exams. I think we're the only website that actually has reading material like that, or readers for the reading section. All right, so students, let's talk a little bit more about this now and a little bit of strategy. So I will look for some volunteers to now read this passage again, and this time when we read it, we will focus a lot on active reading. That means visualizing. When you're reading, you need to see what you read. Okay, that's a very important tip here, everybody. I keep reminding you of that. A lot of students say, I can read in the IELTS and I have good English reading skills. I understand what I read, but then I forget when I get to the questions, so I end up skimming and scanning and searching for answers. Well, that's probably because that person is not reading actively. So you must read actively. There are two important pieces to active reading. The first piece is to visualize. We are visual creatures. Visualize, see what you read, and include yourself. That means that when you're reading about this island of remote curiosity, Tristan da Cunha, this volcanic island, you should see yourself on this volcanic island. You are a resident of this island, trading potatoes, running away from volcanoes, and fishing for lobster. Okay, so you should see yourself doing all that. All of that information was in this passage, and those of you who saw that, who saw yourselves doing that, probably remember what I'm talking about. So that's visualization. The other step, of course, is to always question what you're reading. So ask questions, especially what the paragraph is about. That's a very important question to ask. So, for instance, we had a paragraph about genetics. Okay, so it said they have originally just 16 ancestors. Okay, so you must read actively. You have to take these steps. And we're going to practice this with our viewers, with our members, everybody. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to get some volunteers to read through Zoom. Now, just before we get there, so we read the passage, it's fine. We read the title. It is a good idea to look at the questions before you read the passage and read the questions. So, but we'll do that together. Okay, so we'll look at the questions together. Here is the Zoom link for today. Let me just put that into the chat for you. So go ahead and start up Zoom. I will do the same. Okay, here we go, everybody. Let's get Zoom going. All right, so I have Zoom open and I will be letting in the volunteers here as we get going. Students, in Zoom, to volunteer, you have a more function, and then you have reactions, and in the reactions you can raise your hand like this, okay? Or you can lower your hand as well. All right, we've got Lewis in here and a couple more people. Fantastic. Let me just lower my hand down and start letting in your classmates. James as well. Okay, so again, just raise your hand, volunteer. I know you're ready to read and work with me. Okay. I know you're ready to read and work with me. Okay. This is a team effort. Everybody, this is a team effort. All right, let's start with, hi Lois, let's start with Anahita here. She had her hand up first, I believe. And for those of you watching, even if you're not a member, you can join in here. You may get a chance to volunteer as well. Lois, liking that new camera. Crystal clear and sharp, looking good. All right, Anahita, how are you?
Hi sir, I'm good. How about you?
I am doing well, thank you for asking. Okay, Anahita, we will jump right into this passage. So let's look at the questions together first. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right, so in the reading in IELTS for the academic and for section 3 in the general IELTS, you have about 13 questions on average. And usually you have 3 types of questions, 3 to 4 types of questions for each passage. There are approximately 11 types of questions possible in the reading, including filling in the blanks, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, short answer, summary completion, matching paragraphs. So lots, a list of headings. So you have to know all of them, right, Anahita?
Yes.
Or at least practice them, right?
Of course.
All right. So I'm glad you agree. Thank you, Anahita. All right. So let's just first read the questions. Now, before we continue, and I know you know this, Anahita, so what is important to remember about what questions to read and what questions not to read?
We should just read the questions that are included in the passage. We should not read the questions that has false information.
Yeah, false or not given information, right? Exactly. Why? Why is that, Anahita?
Because they can waste our time and make us confused.
Yeah, right. If you're reading false information and information that's not included. And why does that happen, Anahita? Do you know why that happens? It's a little bit of psychology. So do you know why it makes us confused and why wasting our time is obvious because we might not need to really read it, but why does it make us confused?
Because our brain cannot focus on one thing, but rather the false information will trick us.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So when you're reading information that's not in the passage, let me see if we have any like that. Yeah, like here, this question 12 to 13, there's really only 2 correct answers, and here we have 5 choices, so there are 3 incorrect answers. So our brains don't work like a computer where it's linear and it saves information and then moves on. Our brains have information swimming around all the time, right? So if you're reading false information, it won't leave your brain. It's not going to disappear just because you're not thinking about it. It's still there, and it's fresh, and it's going to influence your thinking for sure. All right, Anahita, can you read questions 1 to 5, please, for us?
Okay. 1. The different types of money used on the island.
Can you read the instructions just before you get right into the questions, please?
Okay. Reading passage 1 has 7 paragraphs A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter in boxes 1 to 5 on your answer sheet. 1. The different types of money used on the island. Should I paraphrase it?
No, just read them.
Okay. 2. Exam results of Tristan students. 3. Discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. 4. The island as an armed forces outpost. 5. Geography of the island.
Very good. So first you just read them, but yes, Anahita asked a good question. She said, should I paraphrase it? And the answer is yes. In the real exam, while you're reading these, before you read the passage, in your head, you should be paraphrasing these. At home, you should be paraphrasing them on paper. Why is that, Anahita?
Because during the exam, it can waste time, but during the practice time, it can enables us to read our paraphrases and correct them and make them better and
yeah, learn vocabulary. So that's why you do it on paper at home and only in your head during the exam. But why do we paraphrase? So even before thinking of doing it in our heads in the exam and doing it on paper at home, why do we paraphrase? So why should we try to think about the different ways to say these sentences?
Because the passages do not have the exact vocabulary and the exact sentences and the exact grammar that is used in the questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way the test works, right? They're not going to take, because then it's just a matching game and not really an English exam. So they don't, or a language exam. So they don't use the same words or even the same grammar. Absolutely, you're right. Okay, so let's do that then together, Anahita. So can you read number 1 and paraphrase it? And students, you can also do this in the chat. So members, you can paraphrase these in the chat, and that will help Anahita. So helping each other and learning together is a great idea. I am, of course, here to help also. So go ahead and read number 1 again and then just verbally paraphrase it, Anahita.
Okay, the different types of money used on the island. Various genres of currency used on the island.
Yeah. Now, genre would be a little bit strange for money. I would just say various kinds of currency used on the island. Yeah, or I would even say, instead of on the island, used on Tristan da Cunha, right? We can use the name to paraphrase the island. Tristan da Cunha, I think, like that. Okay, sure. Next one, can you do that?
Exam results of Tristan students. Test scores of Tristan learners.
Sure. Yeah, you don't have to make it fancy. In fact, usually on the IELTS, in most cases, they usually choose relatively simple synonyms, so they're not going to usually have really complicated ones. So yeah, so test scores of Tristan learners. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great paraphrase. Yeah, and you don't need to get stuck. The goal here is just to do it nice and fast. Lewis, I see that you are doing the paraphrasing as well, and that's great. So he's helping in the chat a little bit. Good. Number 3.
Discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. Discussion talking about the original inhabitants. I mean the indigenous people of the Tristan da Cunha.
Yeah, indigenous is okay. Can you paraphrase it in a simpler way than indigenous?
Original inhabitants, the citizen, the initial citizens.
Even simpler than that.
Native. Louis.
Yeah, it's even. There's an even simpler way. I would say talking about the first people to live on the island, right?
Okay.
First people to live on the island. That's probably the easiest way. You know, our brains tend to do that, especially as we get into adulthood. We have so much information packed in there that we have difficulties going back to those just very simple paraphrases. So talking about the first people to live on the island, the original inhabitants, right? Even original inhabitants is complicated compared to first people to live there. All right, number 4.
The island as an armed forces outpost. The Tristan da Cunha as an armed forces outpost. As a military. Military pressure. I don't know the meaning of outposts.
Outpost means it's like further from the center of where the military is. So the British military, the center would be in Britain, right? And then any military, I don't want to give you the word because it's the word that paraphrases here. Anybody know what it is? It starts with a B. It's just a simple word. It's 4 letters. A place where the military gathers is called a military what is it, Anita? That's right, Lewis has it. It's a military base.
Yeah, Louis says base.
It is a base. So it's basically a base that's not where the center of the military is. So the central place for the military is the headquarters. So the British military headquarters is in the United Kingdom, and they have many military outposts in different parts of the world. It's like an outpost.
Branches, like branches.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an outpost. Exactly. Like a base that's a branch of the main base. Yeah. Okay. Last one, number 5.
Geography of the island, the location of the island. The Tristan da Cunha.
The location is okay. Yeah. Okay. You went really simple there. Sure. The location of the island. Yes. Location of the island, and what else? So geography includes location and
Location and
Abraham says kind of like the map of the island.
but
And
location is inside the map.
yeah, location and description, if you want to keep it simple. Description of the island. So geography describes the island like it's a volcano, there's a forest, there's an ocean around it. So it's the location and description of the island. Okay. Geography includes the terrain, like the land of the island. Okay. All right, Anahita, that was really good. Let's give your classmates a chance, and then maybe we'll circle back when we're answering some of these. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Anahita. Okay, everybody, give Anahita a thumbs up. She did a really good job there, and that's absolutely the first step when you're, well, one of the steps. First step is to read the title and visualize. When you're reading the questions, this is the right step that Anahita took to think about different ways to state these ideas. Okay, we've got lots of hands up, which is great. Let's get Lewis in on this. Lewis, how are you?
Hi, Adrian. I am doing great. How about you?
I'm well also. Thanks for asking. All right. Lewis, let's push forward with the next set of questions here. Can you read the question instructions 6 to 11?
Question 6 to 11. Match the following places with facts about them from the passage. Write the correct letter A to D in boxes 6 to 11 on your answer sheet. You may use any letter more than once.
Okay. Good. Go for it.
A. Saint Helena. B. Tristan da Cunha. C. United Kingdom. And D. Portugal.
Okay, good. So We'll get back to this, but obviously, if you're looking at this before you're reading, you now realize that there's going to be 4 places that you will read about. So let's say you're in the real exam, right, Lewis, and you get to this question. You're realizing, okay, there's 4 places here that will be mentioned. What is a good strategy at this point to consider so that you can answer these questions quickly and effectively?
So, read this type of question before I go on reading the passage and highlight the 4 places when I read the passage.
Not bad. Not bad. I think it's an okay approach.
Yeah.
I think there's one significant improvement that we can make here. Always critical thinking, right? Critical thinking
Yeah,
is there.
that's a-
Critical thinking is humanity's superpower, right? It's humanity's superpower, right?
That's right.
And it's a big one. It literally puts us at the top of the food chain, and it allows us to explore the universe and put a man on the moon, right? So our critical thinking is no small superpower. It's something very, very special. What is the main topic? Which one of these 4 is the main topic?
The main topic.
Which location is obviously the main location here?
Tristan da Cunha.
Tristan da Cunha. It's the title, right? Everybody, it's in the title. It's
Yeah.
Tristan da Cunha. Right. So St. Helena, United Kingdom, and Portugal. Will there be more or less information on those than Tristan da Cunha? Likely.
Less. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. It's our critical thinking will tell us that there will be significantly less information on those 3, right? So what I would do if I were in the IELTS exam and I had something like this is on my note paper, I might write down these 3 terms, and even just quickly to do it with abbreviations like SH for St. Helena, UK for United Kingdom, and P for Portugal. And then as I'm reading through this, I would pay special attention to this and maybe just jot down a keynote or 2 as I'm reading. You could do that, right? And it wouldn't take a lot of time. And then when you get to these questions, and maybe the other questions as well, that little categorization. I wouldn't do one for Tristan da Cunha because it's the main location. So any other information is all Tristan da Cunha, right? And you're not going to be writing a book while you're reading the passage, right? So it doesn't make sense to do one for Tristan da Cunha. So critical thinking here tells me, like, look at the smaller ones and see what kind of unique information, and also to really just visualize these places and fly around in an airplane or a hot air balloon if you want it to be really special, right?
Yes, agreed.
Okay. All right. So, Lewis, just read through these.
Okay. 6. Took political control of the island in the 19th century.
Okay, can you paraphrase that?
Gained political control over the land in the 19th century. How do I paraphrase it?
It's important to paraphrase that. So this type of language, always try to paraphrase it, everybody. That's actually very important to paraphrase. Yeah, you can help Lewis in the chat as well.
In the 19th century.
Think a different number. That's my hint.
19,000.
No. 19th century is not the 1900s. 19th century is the... It's definitely not 2000s, Anahita. You're going the wrong direction. It's the 1800s. Okay, so everybody just be very cautious about this, all right? This is a very common situation in the IELTS that leads to mistakes. 19th century is equal to the 1800 to 1899. It's that 100 years from 1800 to 1899. That's your 19th century, okay? Because it's the 19th century.
Oh, I got
Do you get it? So 0 to 100 is the first century. 100 to 199 is the second century. You following me?
Yeah, following.
200 to 299 is the 3rd century. So 1800 to 1899 is the 19th century. What century are we living in right now, Lewis?
20th century?
No. That's when your dad, or that's when I was born. You were probably born in
21st.
in the 21st century. That's right. We're in the 21st century, everybody. Okay, 2000 to 2099 is the 21st century. There are many IELTS exams. Let's say this. If I had $1 for every student who has lost a mark on the IELTS exam for this mistake, I would have a new car in my garage for sure. Okay, at least. Right? So just be very careful with that, everybody. 19th century is 1800s to 1899. Okay.
I will. Okay.
All right. Number 7.
Uses its own currency. Uses its own currency.
Has its. Keep it simple.
Has its own currency. Has its own type of currency.
Has its own type of money.
Money. Has its own type of money.
Right? Simple. Number 8.
Home to Edinburgh of the 7 Seas. Home to.
When it's names like this, just keep it really simple. Home to is, again, just has. A lot of times these questions just have fancy words for much simpler words, like has the Edinburgh of the 7 Seas. Right?
Oh my, I'm overcomplicating again.
Yeah, just say has the Edinburgh of the 7 Seas.
Has the Edinburgh of the 7 Seas.
Number 9.
Oh, okay. Origin of the name Tristan da Cunha.
The name, this one's a little bit tricky because you have to adjust the grammar. The name Tristan da Cunha.
Source of the name? Oh.
Yeah, that's very good. The source of the name Tristan da Cunha, sure. Or the name Tristan da Cunha comes from. Right?
Comes from, okay.
If you want to, there's usually very simple ways to express language. Okay, number 10.
Islanders have had to be evacuated here after a natural disaster. Evacuation had to be done for islanders after a natural disaster happened.
Sure. Okay, there you just changed the grammar, none of the words, but the inhabitants of this island had to leave because of some force of nature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's a little bit tricky. Okay, number 11.
The discovery of the Tristan da Cunha.
Okay, so you paraphrased it before reading it for us, but that's fine. Okay, that's actually what you're doing in the real test, everybody. What Lewis just did is what you're doing. So you're reading it, and then your brain is very quickly paraphrasing it, right? Because you have 20 minutes, so you need to do all of this reading, paraphrasing within just a 2-3 minute period, right? You should be reading the questions, paraphrasing them as best as you can in about 2 to 3 minutes, visualizing, then reading the passage in about 8 to 10 minutes, and then about 8-9 minutes for the questions after, and then you should be able to get most, maybe all, correct. Okay, number 12 and 13, there's just 2 left. Let's do these ones. Lewis, can you read them?
Yeah, because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small. Okay, so due to the little
Due to the few.
Yeah, due to the fact that few people live to the Tristan da Cunha.
Yeah. So due to the fact that few people live on Tristan da Cunha. Yeah. Number 13.
Due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanian is because that it is secluded. Because it is secluded, the dialect in Tristan da Cunha is.
Yeah. Secluded, isolated, far away, right? Those are all remote. Dialect. What is dialect? Language, right? It's language, basically.
Language. Okay.
Yeah, type of language or form of language. Okay. All right. Lewis, not bad. Definitely you want to practice paraphrasing. Okay, lots and lots of paraphrasing. You've got lots of vocabulary, and I think practicing your paraphrasing will give you much more value from your vocabulary. Okay?
Good exercise today. Yeah.
All right, but you're on the right track. Just keep in mind, everybody, centuries are always the previous 100 years to what you're seeing as the century. Okay? Very important. Don't make a mistake on that. All right, Lewis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Lewis. Give Lewis a thumbs up, everybody. It's challenging. And again, that takes practice. It's very dangerous to go to an IELTS exam and not practice paraphrasing before you go. Practicing this kind of paraphrasing is one of the most effective ways to increase your band scores quickly. Okay. All right, students, we'll continue with our volunteers here and reading. Just for those of you who are joining in right now, this is the link to this Zoom session that we're using for this. Okay. YouTube does not have audio interaction, of course, so that's why we're combining software here. You do have audio interaction capabilities on our websites as well. So aehelp.com, when you join the premium version, then you do have abilities to speak with other students through the student partner speaking, and even book speaking sessions with me through the speaking interview practice. All right, let's get another volunteer to join us here. Let's go with Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, if you can unmute yourself. Abhimanyu, if you're there, let me know.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Abhimanyu. How are you? Ah, and you have your camera on. Nice to see you.
That is my middle name, sir.
What should I call you?
Abraham, as usual.
Abraham?
Yes.
All right, Abraham. And where are you chiming in from?
I'm from the South Sumatra. Remember about Sumatra, South Sumatra? I saw Sumatra tiger last.
The Sumatran tiger. That's right. I do remember. Yes. Okay. Well, good to have you here with me. Okay, let's do some reading here. So let me just bring up the text. And then, so we've gone through the questions. The next step here, of course, is getting into the reading. So when you see it come up, go ahead, read the title and the introduction.
Tristan's da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity.
Yep, and keep going. Tristan da Cunha.
Tristan's da Cunha is an island in the South Pacific Oceans, formed by volcanic activity and a part of the British overseas territory called Saint Helena, Seychelles, and Tristan's da Cunha. Tristan's da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth because of its extreme isolations and its small populations. Tristan's da Cunha is a fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics.
Okay, very good. By the way, I wanted to correct this, everybody. It's not South Pacific Ocean, it's the South Atlantic. This is a mistake in the text that we realized later. It's the South Atlantic Ocean. What is this about, Abraham?
Descriptions of Tristan's da Cunha.
What is it describing specifically?
Geographical and I think the geographical.
Yeah, it describes the
island.
geography. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right, it tells us that it's super remote. It's the most remote place on Earth, right? So.
Yes. Sir.
All right. B, go ahead and read that paragraph for us.
Wait a minute, sir. A little bit late here.
6 seconds. 6 seconds
Okay.
late.
The islands was discovered in 1906 by Portuguese explorer named Tristão da Cunha, who named the islands after himself. The name of the island was later anglicised by the inhabitants into Tristan's da Cunha. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the islands, taking control of it. They used it as marine military base for a number of decades in the 19th centuries, before it fell into disuse after the constructions of the Suez Canal. The Second World War, however, brought a new purpose to the islands. It was used as a top-secret British naval stations, condemned HMS Atlantic Isley. The purpose of the stations was to monitor the waters from German U-boats.
Okay, good. Just pay attention to dates. So it's not 1906, it's 1506. 1506.
Oh, sorry, 1506.
Yeah, and this word is pronounced isle. It's not, it comes, I think, from Irish. It's isle. Okay? Isle. No, you don't pronounce the S in that one. It's kind of tricky. What is this paragraph about?
Military base.
Not just. A little bit simpler than that.
The first founding of Tristan's the Cunha.
Kind of. That's also part of it. So you're giving me pieces of the paragraph instead of the whole paragraph. What's the whole paragraph about? Simply put, the
history.
Yeah.
The history of the islands when it is discovered.
Yeah.
By Portuguese explorer.
Yeah. Until 20th century, right? Basically. Right?
Oh yeah, until 20th century.
Yeah, which is the war time, right? So the history of the island from discovery until 20th century. That's the simple way. So you always want to practice this, everybody, where you read a paragraph and then in a simple sentence summarize the paragraph. Make sure it's accurate. Make sure it includes all the information. That's very important. That will allow you to answer the questions a lot faster and a lot more accurately when you get to those questions. Does that make sense, Abraham? So when you get to those questions and you see, oh, okay, this question is about the history of the island, you know right away that, oh, that was the second paragraph, right? You don't have to search a lot. You don't have to think a lot. Does that make sense?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
One question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What is the meaning of anglicized?
Mm-hmm. Good question. So think English, British people are Anglo-Saxon,
Anglo-Saxon.
Angla actually means English. So the name of the island was later anglicized. It means made to sound English.
Oh.
Okay, made to sound. Yeah.
Accent.
So you know how English borrows words from a lot of other languages, and then it changes, the sound kind of changes to the English pronunciation. So anglicized means made to sound English. It's a good question. So made to sound English. Okay, made to sound English. Okay. Good question. Thank you, Abraham.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for volunteering. And it was
Yes,
good to
thank you,
see you.
sir.
All right, let's give Abraham a big thumbs up in Sumatra, and what an awesome student. All right, Fatime, and I see you there as well. Hang in there. Fatime, can you unmute yourself?
Hey sir, am I clear?
Crystal clear. Fatime, how are you?
Thanks. Fine, I'm good. How about you?
I am also doing well. Thank you for asking. Where are you, Fatime?
I'm from Iran and I'm currently in Iran actually.
Okay, from Iran and in Iran. Okay, Fatime, let's do some reading. Paragraph C, when you see it on the screen, go ahead.
Okay. According to a recent census, the island has just a population of just 263 people, who mainly reside in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It is just thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Because the reproduction pool is so small, the residents of the island suffer from a number of medical disorders. There is rampant, I don't know this word, rampant I don't know this word, on the island, which is thought to be a result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. Based on the endemic asthma, I don't know this word too, inhabitants of the island today, it is thought that there is a genetic underpinning for the condition. Further evidence comes from islanders commonly suffering from, I don't know this word again, this again. I wasn't listening to the audio file when it was played, and sorry, it contributes a little bit of delay when you scroll down. I just lose the words. Okay, left untreated can result in blindness. Sorry,
All right.
it got a little bit delayed, so I just missed the part.
Fatime, everybody, don't be so self-conscious. Yeah. Don't be so self-critical, okay? It's good to be a little bit self-critical, but not too much. Being too self-critical is a negative for your learning and also for your self-esteem. You want to always be proud of yourself. Your English is fantastic, Fatime. So, also, another important tip, everyone. Fatime, are you listening?
Yeah.
Okay. When you don't know a word in the reading, read it anyway and don't worry about it, okay? The best strategy, and you will, okay? Even native speakers who take the IELTS exam will come across words that they don't know, okay? So if you don't know 1 or 2 words while you're reading, that's okay. Don't get stuck. Don't stop. Don't start thinking about it. Just read it and keep going, okay? So when you see a new word or an unfamiliar word, read it and keep going. Okay. Do you know why, Fatime? I tell you that, or I tell all the students that? So why do I say?
Maybe it wastes my time.
No, it's worse than that. It breaks your flow of thought. So the human brain is a brilliant piece of machinery, and oftentimes you can figure out the meaning of a word from context as long as you keep reading. But if you stop and you start thinking about it and you start criticizing yourself that you don't know that word, then you will lose that flow that can potentially give you the meaning of the word. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So don't stop, don't criticize yourself, don't say I don't know that word. Just read it to the best of your ability and keep going. So here the sentence was, there is rampant asthma on the island, which is thought to be the result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. If you had to guess, Fatima, rampant, what do you think it means?
Maybe a disease about breathing? I don't know.
Asthma has to do with breathing, yes. So rampant is an adjective here. Rampant means prevalent or common, okay? Frequent. So there's frequent asthma on the island because 3 of the original inhabitants had it, right? So many people had it. Okay, so rampant here is just a fancy way to say frequent. All right, then the other one where you got kind of stuck is glaucoma. Okay, there were a couple places, but glaucoma. So further evidence comes from the islanders commonly suffering from glaucoma, a degenerative eye condition which, left untreated, can result in blindness. So what is glaucoma?
It's a disease again, maybe.
And what does it affect?
It causes blindness.
So it affects the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so see this comma here, everybody? Fatima, see the 2 commas? That's called,
definition.
exactly, that's called a definitive clause. So a degenerative eye condition is the definition for glaucoma. So oftentimes the passage will give you the definition for some words, but you have to keep reading, right? You have to keep reading, otherwise it becomes confusing. Yes, the other word I remember now is this one, afflicting. Afflicting. Maybe one of your classmates knows this word. Instead of me spoiling all this fun, they can tell you what it means. Affliction. And of course
it's kind of suffering, maybe. Maybe they are suffer.
Yeah, so sometimes words are very close to other words. Affliction, you realize, is very close to affect, right? So affect.
Yeah.
So affliction means negatively affecting, usually an illness. Okay, so when there's a negative affection or affect to a person or to a situation, then we call it an affliction instead of an affect. So an afflict. It's kind of like a combination of the word affect with illness. So afflict, okay? Affliction.
Yeah.
So again, you can figure out a lot of these words from context, but you must not stop. You must keep reading, okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, keep reading one more paragraph here.
Okay, paragraph D.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are just 8 surnames among the 263 residents of Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to the 8 original male ancestors. Since there is almost no immigration to the island, the surnames are kept intact for many generations.
Good. What is this short little paragraph about?
Paragraph D.
What is it about, in a simple way?
I think that happened to me while I was struggling with new words. I forgot the main definition. So it's talking about, since there's almost immigration, the name of people there.
The names of people, and simply put, it's actually one word. Do you know the word heritage?
Yeah.
It's basically
from ancestors.
Exactly, it's heritage. Inheritance, heritage, right? We inherit names, and so it's heritage, right? Where we come from, our ancestors. Absolutely, heritage, sure. Very simply put. All right, Fatima, not bad. You have good reading skills. I feel that for you, it's really important to make sure that you take these wonderful reading skills that you have. You're very fluent when you're reading, and you make sure that you read actively. It does not feel to me that you're reading too actively. So you're reading well, but you need active reading where you're visualizing and you're remembering the information. I know that's challenging to do when you're reading aloud and you're reading in front of an audience. Nonetheless, that's what you want to focus on at home, okay?
Yeah, true.
Thank you so much, Fatime.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye, Fatime.
Bye.
All right. Thumbs up for Fatime. She did a really good job, and it's tough. I know it's tough to do that, to read and to think and to visualize. Anna, can you unmute yourself, please? You're a little bit on the quiet side, Anna.
You don't get it?
Not really. Let me try to turn you up a little bit. Okay, can you try to speak now?
Yes, I try.
Okay,
I'm
better.
joining via file version because I have a little bit difficulties with power today.
Okay, got you. Yeah, it's better now. I've turned you up. Okay, Anna, let's jump right in. Paragraph E, please.
Yes. Education on the island is very limited. Children only attended school until the age of 15, with the option of taking the British standardized test for secondary school graduates once they have completed schooling. As a consequence of the low quality of education, standardized test scores are generally very poor. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken among its natives is very different from that spoken in the rest of the world.
Okay, simply put, what is this about?
This para is about low quality of children's education, and at first moment, and the second moment, the accent of English was different from other countries in the.
Yeah, and the variation of English or unique English, right?
Very
nice. And of course, everybody, Anna has had significant practice doing this, and so notice how easily she just kind of summarized it. I mean, Anna, that was great to hear. You just really, it was almost like you're just having a cup of tea for you to do that. You're like, oh, it's about the low. I was going to say education, but you actually did better than my thought. You said the low quality of education, and that was very good. So you said the low quality of education and the type of English. Brilliant. And you did it with such ease. It was nice to hear that. Students, ideally, for those high band scores to get 7, 8, 9 in your IELTS reading, you want to get to this level that Anna just showed, where she read the paragraph and very easily and quickly, just very accurately summarize that paragraph. Okay, Anna, go ahead and read F for us, please.
Arguably, one of the most interesting facts of Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. For example, the newspaper The Tristan Times could be purchased for 4 big potatoes. Today's Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound as its currency, which is odd because the neighborhood St. Helena, 173 kilometers away, of which Tristan da Cunha shares its status as a British overseas territory, uses the St. Helena pound and not the British pound. Since Tristan da Cunha was formed by volcanic activity, and the volcano which formed it is still active, the inhabitants of the island
life is in constant danger of volcanic eruption. The last such eruption occurred as recently as 1961, when all of the Icelanders had to be evacuated to England. While some communities around the world participate in fire, earthquake, or tornado drills, the residents of Tristan da Cunha participate in evacuation drills, where they practice the protocol for evacuation of island in case of volcanic eruption.
Okay. What is this paragraph about?
I think this paragraph has three moments. First of all, natural disasters like volcanic drills and earthquakes. After this, we read about currency. It was the British pound, but they use it differently. And third moment, we read about potatoes. It also was like money in this Tristan da Cunha.
Okay, good. Now, Anna, remember, organized and simple, right? So it's firstly about currency, then about natural disasters, right?
Yes. I wanna say, like, at the beginning they use potatoes as a currency, and after this is the text mentioned about British pound as a currency.
Yeah.
It's different.
So sure, and you can include that. So you can say it's about the currency as potatoes, and then pounds, right? And of the island and natural disasters. Sure. So as simple as possible, without too much detail, and you should always try to keep the same organization. Anna, that's really good. I'm very happy to hear that you're really identifying the key points so smoothly and so effectively. That's awesome.
Yeah. I work on my vocabulary every single day, and now I learn 5 phrasal verbs per day. I sort out different phrasal verbs from a topic, and from different topics I learn these phrasal verbs, and I make my examples. I for all these words, definitions, expressions, I make my own sentences in my examples. I visualize the language, and it really helps me to communicate what I want to say, not that others say in articles, in books, how I understand the language, and
that's very smart.
Which meaning I use of words I wanna say to others. Yeah.
So that's very clever, Anna, and I agree that phrasal verbs, studying phrasal verbs, English is full of phrasal verbs. Sometimes they call them idiomatic expressions. As well. Sometimes they call them verb phrases instead of phrasal verbs. So there's different ways to call them, but simply put, a phrasal verb is a combination of
verb and preposition.
Exactly. It's a verb plus a preposition. Now, when you're learning phrasal verbs, one really important tip, everyone, and I'm sure Anna's probably figured this out, is that you have a phrasal verb like come across, for example, and then what you want to do is you want to use the exact verb. The exact verb of a phrasal verb is usually the more advanced vocabulary. Let me give you an example. So I hope that my lesson comes across clearly to all IELTS aspirants, or let's keep that simple, learners. Okay, so here I'm using the phrasal verb comes across clearly, but there's actually a single verb that I could use there. And in this case, come across, some of these phrasal verbs have multiple meanings, of course. In this case, come across means to convey. Okay.
Overcome the challenges with IELTS.
Overcome
challenges.
No. So the single word, everybody here, would be, I hope that my lesson conveys clearly to all IELTS learners. So when you're learning these phrasal verbs, always learn the matching verb. Okay. I'll give you another example. I came across my childhood friend at the park yesterday, and it was a lovely surprise. Okay, so
In this meeting we have come across, I meet him. I stumbled upon him in the park unexpectedly.
Okay, so keep in mind, everybody, that stumbled upon would be another phrasal verb. Meet him would actually be an oversimplified verb. Oftentimes, phrasal verbs have a single verb that's a more advanced piece of vocabulary. So here, the more advanced piece of vocabulary, when you meet somebody by accident. Anybody know what that is? Yeah, very good, Anahita. Anahita says it's encounter. So I encountered my childhood friend at the park. So encounter. So always look for those advanced verbs that replace that phrasal verb when you're studying that. That's a good point. Thank you so much, Anna, for volunteering and sharing that insight, okay?
Yeah, thank you everyone for your support. I check Zoom chat and then hit right on YouTube chat. I need to check both chats. Thank you for everyone for your support. Thank you for giving me a chance to be a volunteer. And thank you.
Bye, Anna. All right, that was Anna. That was really good. Would anybody else like to volunteer to finish up this passage and answer some questions, everyone? We still haven't gotten to the answers here yet, and we should do that. So does anybody want to volunteer for that? I would love to hear some new voices as well, just so we get a variety and also practice. Be brave, okay? James Nguyen, are you there? Do you want to volunteer? I know you like volunteering sometimes.
Hi, Mr. Adrian.
How are you, James?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks, James. All right, I'm glad you chimed in, James. I had a feeling you were listening in. You're there. James, when you're ready, can you read paragraph G for us?
Okay. The Christian economy is built mainly upon farming. Ireland is owned by the community. That is to say, there is no individual land ownership. Another significant part of the economy is the exportation of crayfish and lobster, mainly of Japan and the United States. A fire that occurred in 2008 greatly affected both the domestic and export economies. Christians are fiercely proud and independent people, even when given a choice to stay in England after exile due to the volcanic eruption. Almost every resident returned to the island.
Okay, good. What is the conclusion about?
So the conclusion about is the decision about the residents' whereabouts.
Yeah, James, you're right. It's about the residents of the island. It's about it even gives you this interesting word, the spell check can't recognize, the Tristinians, right? It's the Tristinians of the island. They fish, they farm, they're very strongly bonded, they love their island. So it's about the Tristinians, yeah. It's about the way of life of Tristinians. Yeah, absolutely. It talks about their farming, for sure. Okay, good. James, help me out here with the answers a little bit here. Can you read number 1 again?
One, the different types of money used on the island.
Okay, which paragraph is that one? I think you probably remember. We just did it. I believe it was Anna that just read about that, and she summarized it.
Personally, it's F.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was something near the end, right? So again, everybody, it's okay to skim and scan for some information, but not wildly, not crazily, okay? You don't want to be scanning the whole passage. That's what makes me really worried when somebody's like, okay, I'm going to go back to paragraph A and start skim reading from the beginning, right, James? That's a little bit of a scary situation, right? So you have to know where to go from, and here James was very quick. James says, I think it was F. Arguably one of the most interesting facts about Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. Yeah, and here we have, it's about the currency as potatoes and pounds. So in the real test, when you write down one sentence in your notes, doesn't take a lot of time, then you can see it. Then you can go, oh, it's about the currency, so that's going to be F, right? And it's very quick, and you're sure that the answer is correct. Okay, number 2, James.
Number 2, it is paragraph E.
Can you just read it for everybody before you tell us the answer?
So, do you mean the question?
Yes, exam results.
Okay, exam results of Christian students.
Yeah, James is obviously paying attention and he's doing a very good job. By the way, when you do the reading correctly, you are very fast at answering questions. If you only take, like James is only taking 2 seconds to answer a question, you obviously 20 minutes is enough time to read the passage and answer the questions. Okay, and James, how are those exam results? Are they straight A's, 90%, 100%? Are they good students?
I'm sure 100% of the question too.
Yeah, and 2, it says exam results of Tristan students. You said it's, I believe it's E. Do you remember what those test results are? Are they good results?
It is a fairly poor result.
Yeah.
Results.
You're very kind, James. You didn't say no, it's terrible. But yes, they're poor results, yes. So because Anna very cleverly said the low quality of education, right? So low quality of education, and it says children do poorly on these standardized tests. Okay, very good. Number 3, James.
Number 3, discussion of the original inhabitants of the island.
Which one was that?
I'm not sure, but it is paragraph C.
Maybe C. Yep, it was somewhere in the middle there, right? It was talking about the first people who were there. So according to a recent census, the island has a population of 260 people. It is thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Very nice, James. Very good active reading. Absolutely. That's why you're able to do this so quickly. Number 4.
For the island as an armed forces outpost. It is paragraph B because I remember the phrase military base.
Yeah, that's where that paraphrasing is really important, right? We talked about that at the beginning. Military base, Anahita, and I talked about that paraphrasing, and Anahita was like, oh, that's new for me. The word outpost, and then I explained that that's a base that's away from the mother base or the home. It's called the home base, the big one, and you remember correctly, right? It was used as a military base by the British. Okay, number 5, James.
Geography of the island. It is number A, probably.
Yeah, very good. That was Abraham, I believe, that read that one. And it was paragraph A. It was in the very beginning, right? I even gave that correction that it's not in the Pacific Ocean, it's in the Atlantic Ocean. So it's between South America and Africa and the South Atlantic. Okay, James, that's awesome. That's exactly how you do the IELTS. So in the IELTS exam, that's how quickly, clearly, confidently you should be answering these when you do it correctly. So good job, James. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Asia.
No, thank you. That was really good. Thanks. All right, give James a thumbs up. That was a textbook example of how you should be thinking about and answering these questions as you go along. Okay. Abhimanyu, are you there? If you're there, unmute yourself. I think that you're the only one here in Zoom who hasn't spoken. Oh no, that is Abraham. Abraham, right?
Yes.
Yeah, your name.
Oh, yes.
Your name tricked me, Abraham, because you said Abraham.
Yeah, yes, I'm using a different device.
That's okay. That's okay. You're here, so you can help me with these questions then, which is fine. So this is where we have to match these 4 places to the correct information. So go ahead and read number 6 for us when you have the chance.
Yeah, let's try. So
Took political.
Then I can see the screen because
Yeah, you'll see it in a second. It'll just take a second for it to catch up to you.
took political control of the islands in the 19th century. I think it's Portuguese. I remember. D, I think it's number 6. Oh,
No, it's
England,
not.
United Kingdom.
It is the United Kingdom. It's C.
United
Absolutely.
Kingdom,
Absolutely.
C.
This is why you have to be really careful, Abraham, when you read the text, because I remember you misread that, and that's probably why your brain misstepped. I remember you were reading here, and remember this, I even corrected it. I said, be careful, it's not 1906, it's 1506. Right? So 1506 is Portuguese. It's way before the 19th century. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. That's the 19th century. Remember what I said to Lewis? 1800 to 1899 is the 19th century. Okay, so Lewis, if you're there, this is where you have to be really careful, right? Because it says 1816. Do you see that, Lewis?
Yes,
the 1816? Yeah, okay. I see your thumbs up, Lewis. Good. Okay. All right, let's try the next one. So be really careful with that date. That can really, somebody will search for 1900s and then they'll get it wrong. They'll see, 1961, and they'll put in paragraph F and it's wrong. Okay. Number 7. It should come up for you again very quickly.
I think it's the currency.
Uses its own currency. Do you see it?
It's currency.
Number 7. Uses its own currency. Is it St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, or Portugal? A, B, C, or D?
Saint Helena.
That's right. Yeah, that was the paragraph that says St. Helena, the neighboring island 2,700 kilometers away, uses the St. Helena pound, right? So, yeah, it was A. All right, one more, number 8.
Home to Edinburgh of the seven seas.
Mm-hmm.
Home of the Edinburgh.
A, B, C, or D?
I don't remember, sir, because I got a call from my friends that he had an accident.
That's not good. That's not good. Home of the Edinburgh of the Seven Seas is going to be Tristan da Cunha, everybody. Okay? That is the main settlement of Tristan da Cunha. Not a problem. Abraham, if you can, help your friend. I hope everything is okay there, and I appreciate you chiming back in. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm sorry, sir.
No need to apologize.
The whole basics.
No need to apologize. Thank you, Abraham. Bye for now. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to stop there for now, everybody. I'll leave the last few questions to you. So 9 to 13, I'll let you finish those on your own. You will find the answer key on the website when you have the premium account. Again, students, join the premium version if you want more help with the reading, and I will be sending Zoom links to premium students a little bit later today. So keep your eye out for that. In the My Student account, in the exam workbook study plans, you can download these practice exams here. Download Practice Test Book 1, Practice Test Book 2, and then you will find the answer keys at the back of the book, but do try to give the answers on your own first, okay? All right, students, that is the end of this class, but not the end of IELTS today, because I will be coming back in 30 minutes with listening. We're going to do listening 3 and 4 from the exam last week, parts 3 and 4. So do join me for that. It's going to be an interesting listening session. And I hope you have a good 30-minute break. Stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, hydrate, and come back and join me. Check out the websites, aehelp.com for academic, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Thank you to all of my volunteers today in Zoom. It would not have been the same without you. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now, and I will see you again shortly.